Feeling much better now that I'm here with you, and I'm glad that you could join me today for this Halloween treat on polynomials. We've got to add those puppies and subtract them to get where we need to be. So today we're going to take a look at adding and subtracting polynomials. You'll get your vertical and horizontals correct today, I promise. I want you to add these polynomials. 9y minus 7x plus 15a plus negative 3y plus 8x minus 8a. We're going to group like terms. So we're going to pull the 9y and the negative 3y, the negative 7x and the 8x and the 15a and the negative 8a. And when we do, we combine the like terms. 9y minus 3y, 6y. Negative 7x plus 8 is x, because negative 7 plus 8 is 1. Alright, 15a minus 8a is 7a. Hope you didn't need a calculator for that. Why don't you take a stab at this one? Add this one up and I'll come right back. Alright, so the first thing you probably did was combine like terms. If you didn't, shame on you. You got 3a squared plus 3ab plus 4ab minus b squared plus 6b squared. Notice we only have one 3a squared term. So we bring our 3a squared down. 3ab plus 4ab is 7ab minus b squared plus 6b squared is 5b squared, because 6 minus 1 is 5. What about this one? Why don't you take a minute and add this up and see if you can get the correct answer, and I'll be right back. Alright, you've got 1x2, x squared. We only have one of those. So we've got an x squared here, an x squared here. We can rule out number 3. Alright, we still have number 4 with an x squared. Next thing on the list, we have 1, 2, 3x. We have a 3x here. We don't have one here, we don't have one here, and we don't have one here. So we're going to check this one out. Next thing up is 7y. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, that checks. X, Y, that checks. And 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I hope you picked answer 1. I'll edit that out. Now, we're now going to use a different technique. Rather than running them horizontal and combining like terms, now we're going to go vertical, and we're going to use column format. So we've got this problem. We're going to take 4x squared minus 2xy plus 3y squared, and we're going to add to that the polynomial, negative 3x squared minus xy plus 2y squared. We're going to line them up so we get them one right over the other, just like this, in columns. You notice the x squareds, the xy's, and the y squareds are all in columns. Now it becomes a matter of just adding and subtracting. 4x squared minus 3x squared is x squared. 2xy, negative 2xy minus xy is negative 3xy. And 3 plus 2 is 5 for a 5y squared. Now we're going to subtract polynomials. And here, as you found out in class today, there's a trick to this. We're going to subtract by adding the opposite. Don't let this rattle your fruit tree here, people. What we're talking about doing is switching this subtraction sign to a positive and then switching the signs inside the parentheses. So this becomes positive, negative, and positive. So we're going to do that here. We're going to rewrite this using the adding the opposite, and then we're going to group like terms. So we've switched the signs around now, and we have 9y plus 3y minus 7x minus 8x plus 15a plus 8a, and that gives us 12y minus 15x plus 23a. Now, why don't you subtract these and see how you do, and I'll check back with you in just a minute. Did you get her done? All right, let's go. Let's see what we can do with this one. We're going to rewrite by adding the opposite. So we have 7a minus 10b. Now you see we switch the negative to a positive, the positive to a negative, and the positive to a negative. We're going to group like terms. 7a minus 3a minus 10b minus 4b. And I hope you can solve it at this point, and you will end up with 4a minus 14b. Why don't you go ahead and do the same thing this time and use the column method for this particular problem. Alright, here we go again. Let's see what we can do with this. Of course, we're going to keep our like terms and we're going to add the opposite. So when we set this up, we line up our terms, but remember we've switched signs, hence the blue. And we go ahead and do our addition, and we end up with 7x squared minus xy plus y squared. Hopefully you got that. If you did not get that, try working the problem again. Why don't you take a minute and work this one? We're almost done with this video. I hope that you got number one. If you didn't, work it again. Try this one out. I sure hope you got number one, because if you didn't, you need to work it again. And guess what, peeps? That's it. We're done. As always, I'm looking forward to seeing you in the classroom.